Y'all, they got me back on my PI bullshit today. Most of the time, this stuff's more entertaining than television. I pull up to my subject's house, and I park in my little surveillance spot. Nothing's happening at my subject's house, but the neighbors, they entertaining as hell at 7 a.m. This guy, I'm assuming he's like the husband of the household, comes out from the garage in like his Fruit of the Loom tidy whities, like the actual white tidy whities. You know what I'm talking about? Like the grandpa draws. I personally think boxer briefs are hot, but listen, not my circus, not my monkeys. He picks the newspaper up off the end of the driveway, and them tidy whities, like, good for you, bro, go off. Anywho, he starts walking back inside with his newspaper. By the way, who still gets the freaking newspaper? And a woman who I'm assuming is like the wife, she comes out of the house hollering, fussing at this fella. He ain't hardly dressed. She barely got no clothes on. She says, Marshall, you didn't take the trash out. Well, Marshall fires back, and he says, well, Melinda, neither did you. And she's like, I asked you to take it out. And this guy, so matter of fact and so calmly, says, well, Melinda, could have brought it out here with you on your way to holler at me. Now Melinda's mad. She puts her hands on her hips so fast, she didn't know what to say, and she just looking stunned. Well, I mean, he ain't wrong. But then my subject comes out of his house, which is right next door, and he's holding like this giant mug of coffee. No situational awareness whatsoever. Hey, Marshall, how's it going? Marshall is in his drawers. My guy's taking his coffee like this, like it's a cold day outside. It's 92 degrees or something. He starts walking over to the neighbors who are both half naked, just like having a conversation all willy-nilly. How's your morning going? Well, Marshall and Melinda, they don't make no efforts to like cover up or like, I don't know, make themselves scarce because they ain't wearing no clothes. Melinda, she's standing on the driveway with her hands on her hips. She's still stunned that this fella done called her out for not taking out the trash. Marshall puts his hands on his hips, like at the waistband of his Fruit of the Loom. This guy sticks his belly way out, turns away from Melinda and goes, hey neighbor, howdy neighbor, how you going? How's your mom and them? My guy, he ain't all the way naked, but he's wearing like shorts with no t-shirt. And they start walking towards each other like they gonna have a friendly chat, right? Well, there's a truck that's parked like in between their houses. And from my view, the bed of the truck was blocking like the bottom half of their bodies. So on my video, all you can see is two naked dudes standing behind a truck talking to one another. My guy's sipping his coffee. They're talking real low. I can't hear what they're saying. But Fruit of the Loom standing there with his hands on his hips still with his belly all out. And he's just standing there like rocking back and forth while he talks. My subject is still sipping. And so from the angle I'm sitting at and the distance and the mouth, and it looked like they were close, but really they were like far away. But from the angle, and the mouth was mouth, and listen, I don't math. Anyways, look like this guy's are rocking and this guy's sipping his coffee, and then he starts swaying, and it looks like they're like grinding behind the truck together. But then you got Melinda, she mad as hell, standing on the driveway looking like grumpy old men or like Maxine. She mumbled something under her breath. That bastard, I can't understand what she was saying, but you see the smoke coming out of her ears. Well, so on the video, it looks like Melinda standing on the driveway watching these two dudes get down with it. She mad about it. She mad as hell. Well, I think Marshall was talking shit to my subject about Melinda, because he turned around pointing at Melinda. My subject's looking over at her. She wasn't having it at 7 a.m. Turns around quick, fast, and in a hurry. She goes inside the house. She disappears. She came out the house with one slipper. Her robe is falling open. And y'all, she was holding a giant bag of trash. She speed walks over to where the dudes are standing talking, throws the bag of trash at Marshall, and he's stunned. So he's standing there for a minute like catching his bearings. He storms off and starts walking the other way with her one slipper. Well, he turns around, still got the newspaper in his hand. His hands are on his hips. Thanks for taking out the trash, sweetie. Y'all, that fired Melinda up. She stops dead in her tracks. She turns around real slow and dramatic, and my subject, he's standing there watching them yell at each other. Well, now Melinda's looking all disheveled, and my two dudes are still kind of behind the truck, looking totally naked, hollering obscenities, and up a storm out here all willy-nilly in front of God and everybody in the front yard. I just keep videotaping my subject, because that's all that matters in my case. Well, this half-naked fella in his no situational awareness, sipping his coffee, Marshall and Melinda over here hollering at one another. The guy says, all right, Marshall, well, see you later, neighbor. And he starts turning to walk back inside. Y'all, Marshall didn't skip a beat. And in the dead middle of his sentence, he's screaming. He turns around, puts a smile on his face. See you, neighbor. And then Marshall and Melinda just continue to argue on the driveway, half naked. Well, then Marshall storms inside, and Melinda chases after him, and y'all, that big bag of trash still sitting in the yard. I'm just wondering who's gonna clean it up, and it's only 7 a.m. Y'all, I'm telling you, it's wild out here.